Thanks, Michael. Welcome, everybody. Going back through reviewing last week's game with Idaho State, it's kind of as I stated after the game, I was pleased with our overall fundamental play. I'm very aware that we will continue to have more difficult opponents as we move forward in the schedule, but I was pleased at our basic fundamentals of operation at the line of scrimmage, mental assignments and execution, those type of things, and our fundamentals were improved. And in a wet, rain-soaked day, I thought we managed everything: our communication, line of scrimmage, handling the football, all of that offensively really well. I thought Landry Jones, in particular, being out there as a first start in that difficult situation, handled it really well and played well. And along with all our kicking situations, our kickers and handling the ball and punting, kicking, all of that was very solid, very good. So all of that was encouraging. Some of our guys that were players of the game defensively, Travis Lewis and Gerald McCoy, a bunch of guys played well there. And then offensively, Ryan Broyles, Landry Jones, and DeMarco Murray were the players of the game as far as coaches' recognition. And again, same with our punters. I thought Tressway again hit the ball really well. Matt Moreland with kickoffs was strong. Jimmy all but won, with his extra points. He kind of slipped on that one, but so anyway, it was a good, solid day, and it brings us to our second home game here with Tulsa. Here this week, Tulsa we recognize as an excellent football team. The last couple of years winning 10 and 11 games and winning their bowl games. And just looking at them offensively, they've led the nation in total offense the last 2 years and are on track again this year with a very high scoring and explosive offense. And their defense in these early couple of games has played excellent as well. So we're aware that we need to have a great week of practice. We need to keep improving on what we've done the last couple of weeks just to continue to build, to improve in all our fundamentals and what we're doing in our execution to give us an opportunity here this week to have a chance to win. So anyway, I'll just open it up there for questions.
Do you feel in a game like this in-state game where they're in-state players for the most part, you did not offer scholarships to? Is there more motivation for them because of that?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe in the end, everybody, sometimes, likes where they're playing and what they're doing. In the end, it doesn't much matter. We've, it's another game on the schedule, and about everybody you'll play through the year. Some guys you have offered, some guys you haven't. In the end, we each only get 25, and you can't have everybody. So, I'm sure there's some guys on our team that other schools didn't offer as well. So in the end, I don't know that matters a whole lot.
Your special teams have been really good through 2 games. You mentioned your kickers earlier. Could you talk about some of the guys who are really playing well for you on those units?
Matt Clapp was, he and Tressway were kind of our special teams guys of the week. Matt had some great covers, on kickoff, and DeMontre Hurst continues to do well. Marcus Trice had a nice block and hustles and is doing well. But we got a lot of guys that are playing well. It's just hard to name them all. But we're executing, really so far in a pretty good way. Ryan Broyles had some nice returns, and so we'll see.
Did you work out a little bit more this week going into a game with a return man like Damaris Johnson?
Definitely, he's leading the nation in all-purpose yardage. Great player, very quick and excellent speed. So, sure, we extra time covering and hopefully, being in good position and recognizing what they're trying to do.
Well, they got 10 sacks, as I'm sure you're aware. 4 different guys, I think, have 2. Do they do a good job about bringing pressure all over?
They do, and they've got good. Quick guys that are, that have done a good job, but they do. They do a good job with their schemes of trying to create pressure, and they have created a lot of it.
Did last week's game allow you to figure out anything on your offensive line? Are you still open competition there?
It'll be wide open. We're too early into it for anybody to have earned anything too much. In the end, to see how they do this week, who does the best job, most consistent through the week, and when we get into the game, who's executing like we feel they need to.
Are you able to gauge?
I'll let Coach Patton and Coach Wilson, do that. Trent had a solid game again. Brody, though he wasn't in there, he's a tight end, had another excellent game. But they overall, all graded a little bit better for sure.
What about Abrams?
Ben did a nice job. He again, handling a wet ball all day. I thought, he and Landry together through the whole day did a really good job.
Are you able to gauge their process, or are you able to gauge their improvement as a unit? The penalties were way down, but it took, getting well into the game before the run game was really coming on in that game. Passing came on much earlier. So how much improvement beyond just the penalties are you able to know that they made, or are you?
We don't. I'm sure there's some, but again, it's something that'll be ongoing. It needs to continue to build.
Can you go? It's still early, and I understand that, but at some point, do you want to get where these are my 5 up front?
Don't have to.
So it doesn't have to be a deal.
No, I'd like for there to be 8 up front that you can count on, and you like when they're in there and they're playing the way you want them to. I'd love it for 10, but I'd settle for 8 right now.
Do you know what the identity of this team is yet? Is it too early, Bob?
It's too early.
About the chemistry.
I think the chemistry overall is there. I think I've been pleased just as a head coach of their attitude, their tension in meetings and willingness to, at practice, the way they hustle around. And so for that part, I have been pleased. But I think the dynamics you're asking our identity right now with the injuries and while we've gone through, it's way too early. And I think it's still developing. But I feel, I do have positive feelings that I like their attitude and their approach to practices and in the way they responded last week and yesterday.